Hey everybody, I'm Kombucha Kev, and with this video I'll be going over the process of making June. So there's a few key differences between June and Kombucha. I think first off, it's a totally different type of bacteria. So if you're interested in making June, you won't be able to use the same kombucha starter and scobies that you use for making kombucha. What I've used are starter and scobies from a company called Fermentaholics that I found on Amazon. So those have worked out really well. I currently have some SCOBY hotels that I have really strong vinegar June and the SCOBY, so I'm going to be using this for the starter. The second key difference is the tea you use. So with kombucha, you're usually doing like a black tea or a green and black blend, but with June, you'll only use green tea. So what I use is this Positively Tea Pinhead Gunpowder, which I've really enjoyed, and it works really well. And then I'd say the third key difference is with kombucha, you usually use a white cane sugar, but with June, you'll be using honey. So you want this raw honey, and what I use is Ambrosia Honey Company. But what I've already done here is I brewed up a batch of 7 gallons of green tea. So next step would be to add the honey in. And I do about 8 ounces per gallon. So these are 16 ounces. I'll probably try to do all 4, knowing that there's going to be a lot clinging to the sides. So I'm going to just start pouring this in. Next step, I'm going to draw out some of the green tea with honey so that I can put it into my SCOBY hotel. Then I'm actually going to put the rest of this hotel in here and some of this. So I want to make sure I draw it into a separate vessel just so I have it separate from this really strong starter in here. Alright, so that's roughly 1 gallon. So now I'm going to put the June starter, that's basically vinegar, in here. Now I'm just going to pour this tea into my hotel here. It actually looks like I have extra, so I'm just going to pour it back. So that's about it. I'm just going to cover this up with a bandana, and I'll put a strap around it. But what I found is June typically brews a lot quicker than kombucha. I think it took me about maybe under a week last time I did it, where it was a little bit more on the sour side. If you stop it early enough, you can retain some of those honey flavors versus it being really sour. So I think this time I want to try to err more on the side of sweet to have that honey flavor versus having it too sour. All right, so the primary fermentation on my June just finished. I could show you what it looks like. So a lot lighter and more clear than the kombucha I brew. So here's my SCOBY hotel. You know, it's a lot darker. It used that black tea, whereas this used that green tea and honey. So it looks very different, but I'm ready to add my fruit in. So I have some blueberries I chopped up. So I'm just going to drop these in. And I'm also going to add some ginger in. I have it cut up here. All right, so I'm just going to throw a top on it with an airlock, and then it's good to go in a couple days. Okay, so I've had the secondary fermentation go a couple days, and I'm really happy with the flavor. So I'm going to remove the airlock and then rack this June into this keg here. I do have a little bit of a mesh strainer on this funnel here, just to catch any of those blueberries as they come through. I'm hoping I won't have any issues with it getting clogged. Trying to fill it all the way up to the top. It's kind of foamy, so it's hard to tell where that might be. So I'm just going to drop a little bit in at a time until I get it to be pretty much topped off. Okay, I think that's about good. So I'm just gonna throw the top on. I use this carbonation lid. So I'll put this in. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up and then it's all set to hook up to the CO2.